Coming up,
this is Diggory and Dutchess. They were married in 2007 by the mayor of Coconut Creek at the time.
this nonprofit guides children going through grief by pairing them up with horses, goats, donkeys, and more. Jennifer here runs a nonprofit that supports nonprofits like the nonprofit you'll see and helps new nonprofits get started. Okay, enough with the nonprofits. I'll share my favorite ways to push up and sit up, and we'll also hear from the experts on stress and breast cancer.
All that and more is today on SoFlo Health. Is that good? Hello, welcome to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Franke. This is Ellie Mae. Right here is Jed. And below me is Summer, right there. They are a part of Tomorrow's Rainbow, which is a place where people can come for grief and bereavement, specifically young people, and we're going to learn more about it in just a bit. These young goats here are a part of that program for the bereavement side. They don't have any particular therapeutic side like a horse would, other than they make everybody laugh here, which we absolutely love. We're about to go meet Jennifer in just a moment. She made this possible today with the Community Foundation of Broward, and they support nonprofits throughout the county like Tomorrow's Rainbow. And we'll learn more about Tomorrow's Rainbow in just a bit. This is Jennifer, and she is the president and CEO of the Community Foundation of Broward. Jennifer, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. This is a great way to start the day.
Certainly. This is Bogart right behind us. Jennifer, what is the Community Foundation of Broward?
So Community Foundation of Broward is a great nonprofit. We were established 40 years ago, and our mission is pretty simple. We try to elevate philanthropy across the community. We try to help people be more effective in their grant making. We try to lift up and support nonprofits in the community to be more efficient and effective in their operation. And when it's possible, we try to provide research and leadership on key issues.
Wonderful. It sounds like you're constantly helping others.
Yes.
And today, why are we here?
So Tomorrow's Rainbow is a wonderful organization that was established 19 years ago to help children and adults going through a bereavement process and grieving, to help them and their families get through the process and come out stronger and better. And they do that using equine therapy. And it's a wonderful place, a wonderful program that goes out throughout the community, and we're very proud to be a longtime supporter of this great organization.
So the Community Foundation collaborates with Tomorrow's Rainbow through our focus area grants. We have 4 of them at the foundation: healthy and thriving communities, social and economic mobility, youth and education, and arts and culture. A good candidate for these grants are any nonprofit operating in Broward County. As long as you're doing it for the residents of Broward County, you're a good candidate for the foundation. We provide just grants 101 classes, various workshops to work the nonprofits up to where they can actually apply for our focus area grants. We start out with the small and emerging nonprofits. Sometimes they have an operating budget that's less than the biggest nonprofit you could think of. So we work with those smaller nonprofits hand in hand, just walking them through what a budget looks like, what your board should look like, and all the other things that come with writing a successful grant.
If people want to take advantage of this and receive that help, how can they?
Well, they can simply go to our website, cfbroward.org, and there's a link to our nonprofit center. And there's all kinds of resources online. You can sign up to get emails and attend our classes.
Well, thank you for sharing, and thank you for supporting wonderful organizations like this. Stay with us. We're going to learn more about Tomorrow's Rainbow while we're here. Jennifer, thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thanks.
You got it. I need to preface this segment with the fact that I am not an exercise scientist, not a personal trainer, or not an expert in working out, but I am somebody who is enthusiastic about it, and I've been doing it for a long time. Here on SoFlo Health, we've had a lot of people explain to us different push-up variations, different ab exercises, and 2 that we always come back to or hear from you, the audience: push-ups, sit-ups. I have a few personal tips that I feel like we haven't emphasized enough that might help you when you're in your fitness journey. And if they're not helpful to you, then just watch the next segment. All right, let's start with my favorite, the push-up. Now, when it comes to push-ups, I prefer to do my push-ups conventionally. So this isn't the easiest, it's not the hardest, but it definitely is on the harder side. One area a lot of people make the mistake is they don't push all the way out. They start out down here with their shoulders sunken, their chest sunken in, and then they're doing a push-up from here. So you're not getting the engagement on your back, your shoulder, your tricep, quite the same as when you're all the way out. So remember that when you come to the top of the movement, to push all the way out as if you're trying to push the earth away from you, okay? So that's one that I find helpful. Another is the way you do your repetitions will make a big difference on that, and that's something I've learned over the years. I prefer to go for the maximum amount of reps I can do with the most amount of effort per rep. What do I mean by that? This is what I mean. Some people just want to count reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I like to go all the way down and then all the way up. 2, 3. When I push away, I use maximum force. I squeeze my chest, squeeze my arms, and I push the earth away from me. And when I go down, I let all the momentum die flat. And I just sit there for a second and then go back. Again, just two different ways. I find I get more of a contraction, I build more definition, and I just feel better doing it that way. The other question we get a lot is about the sit-up. And I'll get into it just a little while later on SoFlo Health.
Come right back and we'll tour tomorrow's rainbow with Abby when SoFlo Health returns.
Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie. This is Spirit. This is Abby. Earlier we were with Jennifer right here at Tomorrow's Rainbow, and we learned about the Community Foundation of Broward. And now we're going to learn about Tomorrow's Rainbow. So Abby, you're the head honcho here. What are we going to learn today? What is Tomorrow's Rainbow all about?
Tomorrow's Rainbow is a special place for teens and families who are healing from grief or trauma, and they come here to heal and be with other families that know what it's like to experience that type of adversity.
And what does Spirit do here?
Well, Spirit is one of our therapy horses. She works with our individual clients that are individual children and teens who are in our equine assisted psychotherapy program. Occasionally she works with our middle school and high school groups as well in our bereavement support groups.
I started coming here because my mom had passed away. My aunt was like, oh, they do animals and horses. And I was like, oh, she asked if I would like to try out. And I'm like, yeah, try it out. It helped me because I can feel like animals are like humans too. So I feel like they listen. Grieving is like a slow process, so it takes day by day. We do activities, we talk about our grief, and we also help, clean the horses and stuff.
Abby, where are we headed to next?
Next we're going to go meet Teddy and the rest of the herd.
Let's do it. Thanks, Spirit. We're going to go find Teddy. I'm bribing my friends over here. This is Teddy. Tell us about Teddy.
Teddy is a rescued halflinger. He is also part of our bereavement and our individual psychotherapy program, and he has been an amazing, amazing therapy horse. He is extremely intuitive.
Yes.
And as you can see, very friendly and curious.
Where are we heading next?
We're headed to go see the minis.
All right, let's go see the minis. All right, we've made it back over to the mini horse stables where you saw Bogart, who is actually right next to you, earlier on with Jennifer. So, Abby, why the mini horses?
Horses in particular are extremely therapeutic, and people ask me, well, how come you don't work with dogs here at Tomorrow's Rainbow? And I tell them, although dogs are very therapeutic, horses are actually the only animal in the animal kingdom that has that natural ability to mirror your behavior.
Now, there's something you mentioned before we got started here that I would like to bring on camera now, and that's that you teach people to breathe like a horse.
I do.
How does that work?
So what we do is we teach the children how to breathe like a horse, which is through your nose. People don't realize that horses don't breathe through their mouth. And by doing that, they can actually self-regulate, self-soothe. You want to give it a try?
Yeah, let's try. I was going to say, let's do it.
Okay. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is take your finger and look and see where Boo is breathing. And then what I want you to do is put your finger where you see that breath, where you see his belly go out and his belly go in. And then what I want you to do is I want you to focus on his breathing as you try to match your breathing. But concentrate on his breathing. Now, if he's breathing too fast, then you can slow your breathing down and he'll slow his breathing down. And once you feel comfortable, you're going to go to your full palm. And I want you to think about that breath going up your arm and into your lungs as you start to match your breathing, Boo's breathing. Now what I'm going to have you do is I'm actually going to have you go belly to belly with him. So you're going to find that spot and put your belly right face in. There you go. And you're going to feel his breath.
Thanks, Boo. If people want to find out more about what you're doing here at Tomorrow's Rainbow, how can they?
Yeah, probably the best way is through our website, tomorrowsrainbow.org. All the information that you need is there. We're also just a phone call away. We want to be a resource for families that are grieving and families that are experiencing trauma.
Great. Abby, thank you so much for sharing with us today, and thank you to the Community Foundation of Broward for setting this up for us so that you could check it out and meet Boo and the gang. So, again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Boo. Getting a good snack in there. We're about to meet Dr. Paramo here at Mount Sinai Medical Center to talk about breast cancer. There's a lot of misinformation, unfortunately, about it, but he's going to clear it all up for us. So let's go meet the doc. When it comes to breast cancer, what is it that we need to know that maybe people misunderstand?
First of all, that doing a mammogram is a very simple thing to do. The other misconception is that mammograms are bad for you because they have, quote unquote, a lot of radiation. That's not true. The amount of radiation when you do a mammogram is really minimal. October, as you know, is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And during that month, Mount Sinai has a special promotion where you can even get free mammograms if need be or at a discounted price.
Why is it important to detect things early?
Things that you detect early are curable. By the way, most breast cancers are curable. Nowadays, we can cure most cancers, and we're very proud that we have a very good, what we call multidisciplinary team of doctors that work together so that we can hopefully cure most of the patients that have breast cancer.
I think people are most familiar with the mastectomies. Is that always the surgical choice, or are there other things as well?
It's completely the other way around. Most cancers now can be treated without a mastectomy. The one that most people think about is when you have to remove the entire breast. More frequently, what we do is that we remove a part of the breast. And those surgeries cosmetically give you excellent results.
Are there any other misconceptions we should know about?
One big misconception is that men don't develop breast cancer. That's not true. Men can also develop breast cancer. The other big misconception is that all patients that have cancer need chemotherapy. That's not true anymore. Most patients nowadays do not require chemotherapy.
Knowing that it's constantly getting better for the patients because of the kind of work you're doing here is wonderful.
We're extremely excited. Hopefully by 2026, we will have the Bremen Cancer Center. Because don't forget, breast cancer is not just one disease. It's a group of diseases, and every cancer is a little different. So by providing what we call precision medicine, it will allow us to treat every cancer in a specific way. And this new cancer center would allow us to do that.
If people would like to learn more, how can they?
Well, you can reach us online, or you can give us a call, Mount Sinai Medical Center, and very soon, the Bremen Cancer Center.
Doctor, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
You got it.
If you enjoyed my push-up tips, I'll show you how I make the most out of my sit-ups after the break on SoFlo Health.
I'm not an expert in working out, I'm not a personal trainer, not an exercise scientist, but I do work out a lot, and I've learned a lot over the last 16 or so years of working out. And
we're going over the push-up and sit-up. Earlier in the episode, we went over push-up. Now I'm going to talk about my personal tips when it comes to the sit-up. So here are a few things that I've learned over the years that help me. Now, there's a couple different ways to go about a sit-up. It's all pretty much preference. So the way I did them in PE class in high school or in ROTC is you would cross your arms across your chest, and then you would rotate here, put your your elbows over your knees, come back. 2, 3. Personally, I don't like the way this feels on my hips. If you're gonna do these, then I would have a little bit of a cushion here below you, and be careful about slamming your shoulders as you come back. So a lot of people do is they let go once they've reached the top. They're like, that's the end of the exercise. And they just keep doing that over and over. So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3. 2 things are happening. 1, that's not good. 2, my heels are coming up off the ground. So I'm not keeping the contraction as much. So if you do like that form of the exercise, the whole idea in any exercise is to maintain the contraction and control it throughout the entire movement. So if you're going for the maximum growth, then I would do them slower. It's also going to feel better, and I think most likely prevents you from injury better. Again, not an expert on it, but that's been my experience. When I kind of go a little too enthusiastic with it, then that's when I start to find a little bit of an issue. My favorite exercise to do instead is leg raises, or also known as, there's also flutter kicks. And they're very similar to each other. So I'll demonstrate that, and then we'll be on our way. So instead of the sit-up, this is what I like to do. Lay on my back, take my hands under my butt, extend my feet out 6 inches off the ground. You can just hold them there. You can kick them, or you can raise them up to the sky, slowly bring them down, hover, raise them up, slowly bring them down. You can do one at a time. There's a million ways to do it. To me, this is the one that gives me the most burn. Do a little bit of a flutter kick, just 6 inches off the ground, and keep your legs right there. A lot of people are gonna wanna keep their legs higher because it's easier, and you can do that. You can do scissor kicks, all kinds of stuff. But for me, this is my favorite ab exercise to do instead of the sit-up. But if, like I said before, if it's sit-ups or no ab exercises, do the sit-ups. Next to me is Dr. Monique. We are at 5 Element Wellness Center. Dr. Monique, thanks for having us in again.
Thanks for coming.
Of course. We're about to hear from Letha. She experienced just everyday stress, but that it was the combination of stress. She was going through a job that she enjoyed but was intense, stresses in her life, and then eventually some pain started adding on top of that she needed help balancing it. So where does stress play a role in acupuncture and the other things that you do here?
We can definitely treat stress and anxiety. A lot of the points that we use with acupuncture can actually slow down your nervous system. Now, the idea that a lot of people say, well, I don't feel stressed. Just because you don't feel stressed doesn't mean that there's no stress in the body. The accumulation of the stress will eventually cause physical symptoms. And that's what happened to Letha.
Here's Letha's story, and then we'll check back in with Dr. Monique.
I was completely stressed out from work. It was high profile, very busy, lots of hours. I had a lot of backache and a lot of stress from all the challenges that were presented to me. When I first came here to 5 Elements and met Dr. Monique, thank God, she helped me de-stress myself and immediately started with acupuncture. And I did that for a few weeks, and I mean, by the 3rd day, I was already feeling better. Lately, the physical therapy, that is absolutely wonderful. It works. It starts with a routine of massages and with a machine and hands-on. I love it here. This is like, it's like going to the doctor where they listen to you.
Why is it important for people to do what she's done and take preventative measures even after you're feeling much better?
Do you wait for your car to break down or for your light to go on before you change your oil?
Nope.
So how come we don't do that with our bodies? Let's work now on your body. Let's make sure that there's nothing that's gonna develop.
Is this something that you also do with your patients that go through the weight loss, through other
modalities that you have here?
We do teach them it's never going to be that magic pill. It takes a lot of different things, not only when they start the treatment, but when they're done and they're feeling great, what's going to take for you to actually sustain now what we just accomplished.
Yes. Something else she said she appreciated was that you're always researching, and how does that tie into your practice here?
I am aware that there's not going to be a one thing that is going to fix everyone. And that's why I really believe in multi-therapy, and that's what we do here. If there's not one thing that I have that's going to fix your issue, I'm going to have something else that's going to help you.
If people would like to find out more about the multi-therapies or they want to manage their stress, how can they?
Call the office, make your appointment, come in for a consultation, check out our website.
Great. Dr. Monique, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello again, back where we began. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie, and Ellie Mae particularly likes her leg pits down here to be scratched. As you can see, she could just stay here all day. In fact, she said, "I'm ready," while you were joining us from commercial break. And we're wrapping up our day here at Tomorrow's Rainbow. Again, we were here thanks to the Community Foundation of Broward, who supports nonprofits throughout the county, and Tomorrow's Rainbow is one of those. We learned quite a bit today about equine-assisted psychotherapy, about bereavement and grief and things that kids are going through, and I even learned how to breathe like a horse. Now, this farmhouse life isn't for everyone, but the farmhouse aesthetic certainly is for a lot of people, so let's check in with SoFlo Home Project host and design expert Elena Capra to see what's happening later today on SoFlo Home Project.
Hi Hunter! So today we are sharing ways on how to give your home a chic new look with materials found in nature. Later today on SoFlo Home Project, we tour a beautifully updated condo with exquisite stone surfaces.
And now let's take a moment and see what's on the next SoFlo Health.
That's not Chef Michelle Bernstein, but she's paying homage to her by featuring one of Michi's salad recipes with Michelle's permission. We'll check out the salad and all of this to boot.
That's all we have for this week's episode of SoFlo Health. Thank you so much for watching. If you missed today's episode or any other previous episode you'd like to catch up on, you can find it at SoFloShows.com. You can also follow us using @SoFlo Health to share with us what you're doing to stay healthy. Until next week, it's goodbye, good health, and a very good goat. Isn't that right, Jed?